It was one of those nights when the world was too loud. Screens were glowing, thoughts were racing, appointments, messages, obligations, everything pressed down on his head like an invisible helmet. At some point, somewhere between one last scroll and half a thought, he fell asleep. In his dream, he suddenly stood in front of a door he had never seen before. The wood was old, yet warm, as if it had already heard many secrets. A soft light shimmered through the gap. The air smelled inviting, of freshly ground coffee, warm wood, vanilla, and a hint of cinnamon, like a memory of a childhood that had never been quite like that, and yet felt familiar. He opened the door. Behind it lay a house like something from a fairy tale, surrounded by a garden full of flowers and birdsong. Roses climbed along stone walls. Somewhere water was quietly trickling. The light rested like gold on leaves and paths. He followed the scent. The scent led him into a room where he heard the crackling of wood. The room was wrapped in warm candlelight and the glow of a fireplace. Everywhere were books, shimmering fabrics, and small, sparkling objects, as if someone had gathered the remains of hundreds of stories and carefully kept them safe. At a wooden table, with a single candle burning on it, sat a beautiful young woman with long, fair hair. She radiated a deep harmony and calm, as if she was completely in her element, and at the same time completely at peace with this room. In front of her lay fine threads stretching across the table like small lines of light. Her hands moved slowly, almost magically, as if she was weaving something from these threads that he could not yet recognize. Next to the threads stood a small figure with a wide skirt. A delicate scent of coffee, vanilla, and cinnamon seemed to come from her, as if a home was hidden inside her fabric. He remained standing in the doorway. The woman slowly lifted her gaze and looked at him, not surprised, rather as if she had always known that he would appear here one day. Her eyes were calm, deep, mysterious, like that place in a river where you cannot quite see how deep it really is. "Good evening," the knight said. "Where am I?" She did not answer at once. For a moment there was only the crackling of the fire in the fireplace and the soft flutter of the candle flame. Then she smiled gently. "You are in a place," she said at last, "where you do not have to prove anything." Her voice sounded as if it came directly from the room next to his soul. She made a welcoming gesture. "Come closer. Sit down. Here nobody asks you what you achieved today. You do not need to play any roles here, and you do not need to wear any masks. Just be yourself." He sat down opposite her. Between them the candle stood like a small, quiet star. His gaze wandered across the table, over the threads, and the small figure with the wide skirt. Her hands kept moving, calm, focused, full of silent magic. He could not take his eyes off her. Her eyes were deep and green, like a lake in the shadow of a forest. A place where you can lose yourself and find yourself at the same time. On her face lay a tender, quiet smile, as if she was inviting him, and yet he did not know to what. "What are you doing?" he finally asked. She did not answer with her mouth. She simply looked into his eyes, quiet and steady. He felt a voice rising inside him, soft, clear, familiar, although it should have been strange to him. "Of course I understand you," he heard inside his head. "It does not matter which language I speak. I am sure you cannot had your token." The words haven't yet, her voice was inside him, as if someone was speaking directly to his inner world. She picked up a pair of scissors, gathered the threads, and began to cut them into different lengths. Then she laid the pieces side by side on the table, until a pattern appeared, a field of lines that reminded him of a game board. "What is that?" he asked. "Is that chess?" She glanced up briefly, and this time her voice answered both in his head and softly in the room. "Almost," she said. "It is an intellectual chess game, but without winners and without losers. You cannot play the same game twice, because today Mbiyan Evrik with the field of threads, at surviving, and you could calling it a yaw," she whispered, "but it is a good a cooking that with followers, above sports, other." Inside him, a mixture of skepticism and curiosity stirred. "And why would someone play a game like that?" he asked after a while. Ksenja looked briefly at the small figure, then back at him. "Because some of your battles out there are not really decided out there," she said quietly. "Each of these cards is a step on your path, a small hint of where your soul truly wants to go." She gently pushed the cards a little closer to him. His gaze returned to the small figure with a wide skirt, from which the scent of coffee, vanilla, and cinnamon was drifting. "And what is that?" he asked softly, pointing at her. Ksenja stroked over the skirt with her fingers. "This is a kind of aromatic guardian angel," she said. "A guide who will walk with you on your way. Her scent reminds you of your values, and of the fact that someone believes in you. The warm coffee with vanilla and cinnamon can remind you of a home, of a place of safety, where someone is waiting for you." He remained silent, but something in his chest softened. Ksenja placed her fingertips gently on the edge of the threadboard. "4 pillars," she said softly. "Meaning, presence, love, and clarity. Thoughts from people who have all asked about the why of life in very different ways. Viktor Frankl, Omar Khayyam, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Anna Lemke." "And what do I have to do?" he asked, almost in a whisper. "Nothing," she replied. "Only be willing to draw a card. The images, the questions, the next steps, they will arise inside you." He took a deep breath. He was tired enough to allow something new. "Then, which card?" he asked. "The one that calls you," said Ksenja. "For today I suggest we start where every real house begins, with the foundation." The flames of the candle rose a little higher, as if the room itself was listening. He reached out his hand. Inside, it felt as if he was touching not just a card, but the first stone. When he turned it over, he saw the image of a house. Even before he could read the words, he knew. This first card had something to do with the word meaning. In that moment, the story of the house without a foundation began. One could have said that he was a modern knight, no armor of steel, but of appointments, goals, and responsibilities. His body was strong, his gaze clear, his days carefully structured. He was someone others could rely on, at least from the outside. He lived a life that looked like a house of glass and steel, clear, modern, impressive. The facade was perfect. A good job, visible achievements, an environment that nodded and said, "He has made it." When people asked him how he was, he answered almost automatically, "I'm fine, all good, I've got it under control." And part of him even believed that. Only sometimes, late in the evening, when the noises of the day grew quieter and his layers of protection became a little thinner, he felt something strange, a slight trembling under his feet, not visible, but tangible, as if the ground beneath his beautiful house was breathing very softly. He told himself it was only tiredness, or stress, or simply the price he had to pay for carrying so much. Whenever this trembling grew stronger, he reacted the way he always had. He did more work, more training, more distraction, more content, more speed. Anything was better than standing still for too long and listening. But one day, a storm came that was different from the others. On the outside, it was just an ordinary day. A few difficult messages, a decision he could not control, a sense of overwhelm that refused to be pushed away. Inside, though, it felt as if the wind was blowing straight through his chest. That evening, when he entered his glass and steel house, he realized that the trembling had grown stronger. The glasses in the kitchen clinked softly. A picture frame on the wall vibrated, even though no truck was passing by. For the first time, he did not sit down on the sofa, not at the computer, not on his phone. He sat down on the floor, just like that, with his back against the wall, his knees drawn up, his feet on the wooden floor. He closed his eyes and listened to the trembling, not to his thoughts, not to the inner voices that sense, "Pull yourself together, you must function," but to this quiet shaking underneath him. And a question rose up, clearer than he liked. What of my life standing on, really? What is the foundation beneath this house that looks so I? In his mind's eye, he saw an image. His eyes seen from the outside. Large, bright, imperious. But when he let his gaze sink downwards, he saw that underneath there was only a thin slab. Poured 05, without real depth. In this slab, invisible sentences were carved. Be strong. Don't show weakness. Do more. Don't disappoint anyone. You'm about to rest when you of trust of Sue was with sadness. He this his house to social with social from his our own heart at all. From expectations. From images of what of my bird to be. At the same time, he felt an unexpected sense of relief. For the first time, he could see words really words of all. That you're outside of badly built. It's understood of truly been your, of followed with his. In the those curiosity, he did not his job. He did not tear anything down. He did not leave anyone. But inside, he began to open the ground. In a notebook, perhaps like the one he had seen in his dream on Ksenja's table, he started to write honestly. What in my life feels like foreign concrete, and what feels like a real stone that truly belongs to me? Answers came, projects that were only there for status, roles he played so that he would not stand out, but also moments in which he had been quietly, unspectacularly happy, laughing with a friend, looking up at the sky after training, cooking a simple meal, without a phone, without an audience. Over time, he began to see his inner ground differently, no longer as a rigid slab, but as something he was allowed to work on. In his imagination, he removed the old concrete piece by piece, not all at once, chunk by chunk. Some pieces hurt because memories were clinging to them, voices from childhood, looks, judgments. But between the old pieces, empty space appeared. Into this space he placed new stones. On one he wrote, truthfulness. On another, connection. On a third, quiet strength. On a fourth, the right to rest. The more such stones he named, the calmer the trembling became. The storm of life did not stop, but he had the feeling that the ground beneath him was becoming denser and more supportive, slowly. The ground felt different, more honest, more solid. He understood. If you want to build high towers, you must be willing to spend a long time with the foundation. And perhaps this time, close to the ground, was not a step backwards, but the beginning of a new chapter in his life. I am Ksenja, an architect of the soul at Villa Brunoli. This fairy tale tells the story of a knight who only notices very late that his beautiful house is standing on a foundation of foreign sentences. Many of us know this quiet trembling, even when we appear strong on the outside. Villa Brunoli is, for me, an oasis, a place where you are allowed to look at your foundation without judgment, without haste, stone by stone. If your life were a house, what of your foundation standing on today? And which single stone do you want to place there next, very consciously? If you like, write this one stone in the comments. This is your first step, your level 1.